Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I woke up
Good.
I'm off today, so yeah.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Abby Levine, and this is Metamorphosis Live with Abby. And so far, what we've been doing is we have been doing weekly meetings with people to help them overcome blocks and challenges that they have in their life. And part of that is to allow me to, have an opportunity to give people access to what I do for free. For example, Cielo, who is our current client on Metamorphosis Live. And then also just for you to be able to see what it is that I do and how I do it. So Cielo is today on her third session. And what we're working on is helping her to feel worthy of a life that she desires. And so we've been working on some affirmations and helping her do things for herself. So let's just check in and see how she's doing. How are you doing today?
I something came up this morning which I was like, this is bringing me awareness. So and it's something, that's probably deeper than what it seems like. So I was like, okay, this is a good day for this to happen because I can talk about it with you. Yeah, but overall, like the week has been, I want to say really good. Like I feel just there's a lot more equanimity. I've been reading the homecoming book, getting really in touch with like my infant and like my toddler self, and then um I finished the preschool self, and then
Oh,
now I'm gonna begin the school age self.
yes.
um but I really, really connected with my infant self a lot because I really feel like that's where like the maybe the trauma started. Just not really feeling like I belong. And so last night I went out with one of my good girlfriends that I've known for years, and I don't see her that often.
Mhm.
And so, I'm posting, and I just see her, through social media, and I always see her posting about her and like our other friend. And they're together all the time and every weekend. And so we finally got to hang out after months. And I'm tagging her in my stuff, like in my stories. And I know this sounds like funny because it's just like stupid social media stuff, but it's deeper than that.
Mhm.
Um, and she doesn't repost it, doesn't post anything about me. And and my and my other really, really close friend did the same thing. Like I hadn't seen her in months. I finally like had breakfast with her, and we did like the most just to even meet before I had to go to work. And posted a picture of me and her, tagged her. She didn't repost it.
Mm.
And then my old best friend would never tag me or post anything about me either. And this was like my
Wow.
best friend since we were like 12. So
Wow.
I already know I have it's already on my radar that I'm self-conscious about, like, and these aren't like strangers, you know what I mean? I
Right.
go out with like people I hardly know and they even tag me and stuff. like like these are really close friends, and it's like they don't want people to know they're with me, or like I just kind of feel like it's invalidating that, like, hey, I'm so happy to see you, and they're like, you know.
Mhm.
And
So
so
what it sounds like the story is that I love them more than they love me. I care
yeah,
about them more than they care about me. Is that the story that's being told from that?
yeah, I think there's a lot of things of just like I feel rejected.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I'm putting my heart on my sleeve here, like, oh my gosh, it was so fun seeing, my girl, or hanging out with my girl. I love hanging out with her. And then it's just like crickets. And I'm like,
Mm.
You know what it is? I think I also have a thing in general of like unrequited love.
Ah, oh, fascinating.
Like even with my mom. And I think that's where it starts of just like, your mother is the first person like you really love because I mean,
Yeah.
she's right there. She's feeding you, or maybe you think you love them, or that you're supposed to be
You
close to.
do. You just don't have an option. We love our parents. We don't have a choice not to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think there's just like a lot going on when I feel like it's not reciprocated. It's like, what's wrong with me? I mean, just a slew of different programs of like,
Mm.
I'm not good enough and just all this stuff of like, why are they posting all this stuff with their other friends? And then when it comes to me, I hardly get to see you. And you're with your friend every single weekend and you're always I'm like, wouldn't you want to post me too? Cause like I never even get to see you. And like for me,
Mm.
I think they're memories, and like I like documenting stuff like that. So for some people it might not, be that important. But I even had mentioned it to this specific friend. We went to Jordan last.
Oh no. Are you there? Cielo. Oh, Mercury. Oh dear. Um, until Cielo comes back online. Cielo, if you can hear me, just go ahead and or let me just chat to you. Try logging out and back in again. I think that what we're talking about is really fascinating. When it comes to loving people more than they love you, when it comes to um, unrequited love or rejection, or things that people seem to do easily and willingly with one person, and it feels like you're pulling teeth in order to get them to do it with you, and it creates all kinds of stories in our mind, right? And it's such a fascinating look at the stories that we create based on other people's behavior, right? And it's not like there's no evidence, right? Like Cielo's story is so common of, um, kind of, I guess, favoritism or what looks like favoritism. But the thing that's really fascinating is the story that we tell about someone else's behavior. That to me, it makes such a difference because our story dictates how we respond. It dictates the reinforcement of old programs. It tells us how we should feel. How do we act? How do we now treat that person differently? Or do we treat other friends differently based on this story that we tell, which can be real or can be completely made up. Let's hop back in. Hi there. Welcome back.
Sorry, the
Oh, it's
connection.
all good.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Yes. Anyway, please continue. We were just talking about, that feeling rejected. You were saying that you had actually told one of your friends.
Yeah, about it. And she assured, like, no, it's nothing like that. And I even actually had confronted my ex best friend about it too, because I've known her since we were 12. And when we were little, we always took pictures together. I have like a whole drawer full of like actual printed out photos. And then after a certain year, she just never posted any pictures of me on her social media. And I was like, the last one was like I was her maid of honor, and she got married like 10 years ago. And I was like, are you ashamed of me? Like I seriously had to have these talks with them because I was like, am I like not one of your cuter friends? I honestly didn't know what happened and why like I felt singled out of like not being posted on their stuff where they're posting all these other people, you know? So
Right. How did those conversations go? What did they say after you asked if you were ashamed of me?
yeah, I mean, both of them like assured nothing was wrong with me and continued to not post about me. So I just literally went nowhere. It was just like, no, yeah, no, that's not, there's nothing wrong with you. And then just kept like on with what they were doing. And so, I mean, I think they like tried to make an effort at first. And I think this one that I hung out with last night probably just totally forgot about that conversation. And, but I have a feeling she probably just didn't like how she looked in the photos. So yeah, I'm like, you know, there's so many things where I'm like, okay, it's not about me, but some of the posts didn't even have her like her face in it. It was just like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, whatever. But I mean, as much as I say like it's not about me, it is like whatever they do is not about me, but how I perceive it is about me. So
Absolutely. How can it not be, right? Because you're
yeah,
looking at it from your perspective, right?
yeah, and I'm like, well, it's hurting me or it's bothering me not because they're trying to hurt me, but there's a theme here that is touching on a wound that is open.
Very good awareness. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. Bing, ding, 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 ding. Wow, your awareness is so superb, Cielo. So, yes, there is a wound here that's being flicked by this series of events. And what's so fascinating is that you keep attracting more of the same people.
Yeah.
And you keep attracting more of the same situations, which
Yeah.
leads us to believe what you initially pointed to, with your mom, is that there is a program there wherein the brain has to keep fulfilling itself,
Hmm.
right? Because the
Yeah.
brain just simply is there to create self-fulfilling prophecies. Whatever the brain believes, it will create in your life, regardless of what that is. So there is a belief that I care about others more than they care about me. I love others more than they love me. Or sometimes I love people and they don't love me at all. They could care less about me. They don't care about my feelings. They don't care about how I feel about this particular thing of posting on social media. And it doesn't matter the cause behind their behavior, regardless, it hurts you,
Mm.
right? So,
Yeah.
um, so that's really, really interesting. Are you ashamed of me? That's very interesting that that came up. What's around that? Do you feel as if people are ashamed to know you? Do you feel as if your mom was ashamed of you?
Um, Not necessarily my mom. The reason why I said that was because my ex best friend was really into appearances,
Mhm.
and she had to. I mean, she never had a hair out of place, and I'm very casual. I've always been, you know, a minimalist and just Cali casual. I mean, I'm from here, like, and so I always was thinking like, oh, am I not like dressed up enough for her photos or like, you know, because her hair is always done, her makeup always is done. And so so it made me think like, what's the motivation behind her not wanting to post about me? And I was like, oh, I thought maybe it was that, you know, but I mean, I don't think that's necessarily what it was, but I was like trying to think of any reason as to like what made her stop posting about me.
This was the one that the last post was 10 years ago.
Yeah, like yeah, whenever I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but she got married a while ago and her kids are like getting like close to 8 or 9. So yeah, it's almost 10 years ago. Yeah.
Got it. What's the significance of people needing to show themselves as friends with you? What's important about it needing to be an announcement to you specifically?
I think it's just like wait, like that they're my friend or
Oh, for example,
yeah.
um, me personally, I could give two shits if my friends post or don't post about me.
Hmm.
That doesn't tell me anything about my friendship with them. But
Uh-huh.
that's from my personal perspective. So
Mhm.
tell me from your personal perspective what it means when they post about you or don't post about you. Like what's the importance of showing other people?
Yeah, well, like, because since I think it's honestly like I don't feel like I matter.
Mm, because it's in comparison with how easily they post and show other people the other people that they hang out with, their other friends. So is
Yeah,
it
it's
in
like
comparison? Yes,
yeah,
good.
it's like they're proud of their other friends, and they're like, look at all of these other people, and it's like I'm some hidden secret.
Oh, yeah, I don't matter. hmm
It's like they don't want people to know that they're associating with me or something. Like
Why does that matter to you, Cielo? Why do you care what other people that you don't know think about their friendship with you? Tell
it's
me
not
that.
about them. Yeah, it's not about their audience. It's about that person wanting to validate our experiences together. You know,
Got it. Got
like
it.
I
So
don't I don't
when they tell you in private that it's got nothing to do with your friendship, that doesn't mean anything to you because the evidence that so your evidence that you are important to them would mean that they would post about you on social media. That's what would be the evidence.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Good. So we're digging into this, okay? Because I think that you think it's one thing and I think that it's another thing. So I want to try to get to see if we can get to what the truth of it really is because you say that it's not about their friends or your other friends,
Because
but
I don't know their friends.
that
So
that's
if they
absolutely right. But hear me out. But if it wasn't about what everyone else thought, then them reassuring you that they love you would be adequate.
well, I still feel like it's hidden. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you in private, but then I'm going to still act like I don't know you in public.
Okay, let's feel into that. It's hidden. Do they go out in public with you, or will they only see you like in your home where no one else can see you?
No, okay. I think this is kind of going in a direction that I'm like, okay, the whole like I know it sounds like frivolous because it's social media.
No, it's not frivolous. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to help you see where your importance lies because I don't think that you're seeing it correctly. I don't think you're seeing it accurately in this moment.
No, yeah, I want to know what your perspective is because I'm trying to gain a different perspective because I know it's not about, you know what I mean? I know it's deeper than just like, oh, they're not posting about me.
Yes,
Obviously, because it's like, why should that matter? But it really hurts me
it
that
does.
I'm
Yeah, yes,
yeah, like I feel completely like
right,
invalidated that
right.
like I want to
Mhm.
show like these great memories that we're having together and like they
Yes,
don't feel the same. And that's
yeah,
why I was saying I feel like it's unrequited love that it's like I'm showing people like I'm proud of them, I'm proud of this relationship and that like how like it's kind of me showing my affection for them. I mean, yeah, I can tell them to their face, they know it. You know what I mean? And it's like I kind of feel like it's, you know, when it comes back to me, it's like, okay, well, I'll just kind of like make it between us two. Like no one has to know kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, I know it's no one else's business, but at the same time, it doesn't make me feel any better that it's like, you know, like, well, why are you so like quick to post about everything else you're doing but hanging out with me? I just, you know what I mean? Like I would just love to be able to like feel like I belong and I feel like I don't.
no, I hear that. I totally hear that, babe. And everything that you're feeling is so valid. And I completely understand where you're coming from, where you feel invalidated by their lack of posting about you. The reason that we're trying to dig into this is because there's an element of external validation that you're pinning your value on, that is unrealistic, fabricated, doesn't exist, right? So that's so beautiful that when you post on social media, it's because you're proud to be with your friends. You love making these memories. It could be argued that the memories are being made whether they're posted on social media or not. It could be argued that the relationship is happening whether it's validated by social media or not. It could be argued that they're not trying to keep your relationship a secret because they're totally fine with going out with you in public and other people seeing you together. So my point is,
Okay.
does that make sense? My point is, your feelings are valid,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing that shows that you are important to them is based on something that means nothing. It's not frivolous. It's
Okay, let's say it's not social media. Let's just say
okay.
they're okay, because I think that's getting, I think that's making this not about what the real issue is, because I know it's,
No, I actually disagree with you. I think that we're getting closer to what the real issue is, and your brain is trying to skirt around it. And the reason that I say that is because now we're starting to get into some deeper things of what equals what is validation for you. And it ties very much back into the first conversation that we had about you creating relationships that are based on a picture in your mind. Now we are showing evidence that there are also itemized check boxes that need to be checked based on what equals a friendship in your mind. And if those boxes are not checked, that makes the friendship invalid, or that makes you invalid because those boxes are not being checked. So I actually very much disagree with you. I think we're getting closer, not further. And I think that your unconscious mind is very uncomfortable with that because it does not want to be witnessed. It does not want this to be cleared. Does that make sense?
no, well, when you put it like that, yeah, that makes sense. But I was thinking like you were going with like my like deep
No, I
into
don't.
social media, and
No,
I'm
no, no,
like,
no,
no,
no.
it's
I
not.
don't think that you're obsessed with social media or your appearance on social media. No, I don't think that at all. I'm trying to reflect back to you
Mhm.
that you have a list of expectations that need to be checked in order for you to feel validated, and that the list of expectations are based on external sources. And as
Mhm.
long as that is true, you will never feel valid. There is no amount of validation that could fill that pit. The only thing that can fill that pit is self validation, self acceptance, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
no, all of this I'm like 100% agreeing with, and no, but I just felt like the conversation was like, okay, like deep into social media, and I'm like, no, like the point is I know I need to validate myself. But yeah, I get, when I was like, okay, give me your perspective, and it was like, okay, you have these like rules or this like, these standards that are basically impossible, then yeah, I totally can see that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to get distracted with the whole like, okay, why does it matter what, like what's
But
going on
that's the
in
point, love. But that's the point. The reason I was
my.
pressing you on that is because them posting about your friendship on social media is one of the check boxes. That's the actual point. That's why I was backing you into a corner. That's why I was pressing you tighter and tighter and tighter so that you can see this for yourself, because it's one thing, babe. It's one thing to say, yes, I know I have unrealistic expectations about other people. It's one thing to be super vague about that. It's a whole other thing for me to say, hey, look in the mirror right now. And you're like, no, I don't want to. And I'm like, nope, too bad. If you want to work with me, you're going to look in the mirror right now. And you're like, but I don't like it. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Look in the mirror, right? Look in the mirror and witness the evidence of what you're saying. I hear the underpinnings and I hear where the trauma is. But the evidence is showing up here. I need you to look at it. I need you to see it. Because if you don't see how it shows up in everyday life, you don't have a hope of ever correcting that day-to-day behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I saw that this morning when I knew I was bothered by it. And I
Right.
said, I shouldn't expect her to validate me at all, even in private. And then at the same time, I'm like, but I'm still hurt.
Absolutely. And that hurt is valid. And I'm so glad that you're giving yourself that permission. But if you just stop there, it's surface level. What I was trying to get you to see within yourself, I don't want to give you the answers, babe. If I give you the answer, it's not going to sink in, it's not going to stick. What I want to know and what I want you to see for yourself is what is happening below the surface. That public acknowledgement makes a difference to private acknowledgement. That's not me trying to lambaste you or criticize you. I'm not trying to go, oh, you care about social media. No, I'm literally trying to find out what's the difference to you. What makes the difference? Why is it different when they acknowledge you privately versus publicly? Why is it different?
And I'm trying to think back, like, just like, I guess when probably maybe just because I never felt like my parents were proud of me, maybe.
Oh, bingo. You nailed it. That was so beautiful. You just want someone to be proud of you. Yes. And there are ways that they can show that they are proud of you. And posting on social media is one of those ways.
I mean, I think it's just about recognition.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Okay. That's so good. I want, yes. What are some other ways that people can show that they're proud of you, babe? Let's create let's create a list. So they can publicly acknowledge you, and the easiest way to do that is social media. Not the only way, but the easiest. Yeah, they can publicly acknowledge you and your friendship. Okay, what else? What else? How else can people show that they're proud of you?
Like, include me and want me there.
Yes. Include you. Yeah. In events, gatherings, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because even, seeing her with like our other friend every weekend and me not seeing her for months also made me feel like, I mean, not wanted, but like not important.
Yeah. Yeah. So seeing her post about her other friend is actually doubly hurtful. So that whole thing is doubly hurtful because you're not included, you're not invited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
And
it.
I think in general, like growing up, I always felt really left out because like my older brother and sister were like closer in age. And so I was always in a different school and I was always by myself. And when I would, go to school, the kids wouldn't play with me. And it was like I had a weird name. They just, I don't know, I was too different. And so I grew up just like feeling like I didn't belong and that I wasn't like included or invited or, you know what I mean? And just kind of outcast.
Yeah.
And even now in adulthood, I try to like reframe that thinking because I'm like, no, like I am invited to things and, I try to like, count my blessings instead of focus on like that program of like, I don't belong or I'm not invited or I'm not wanted or something, because I know there's enough evidence to prove me wrong, but it's like it's still there. And when it shows up, my brain just like is attached to it and is like, see, look how right I am, and
Absolutely. 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 Okay. So I want someone to be proud of me, want to feel included, want to belong. Okay.
I think at the end of the day, what's underneath all of that is just wanting to be loved.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanting to be loved, but I don't think it's as simple as wanting to be loved, because I do believe that that these would be some like checkpoints for you in what love looks like. Love looks like someone wants me present. Love looks like someone wants to include me. Love looks like someone's proud of me. Someone is, you know, and the thing about these expectations, and I think we touched on it when we first talked, is it puts way too much pressure on a relationship. And the thing about people is that they can feel that pressure. They can feel that demand. They can feel that requirement. And no one, and you know this, but no one is capable of making you feel loved. No one. If you don't feel love, no one can make you feel loved. And that's why homecoming is such a powerful journey, because it's the journey of reclaiming each parts of yourself, and loving each parts of yourself. And I want to make sure that as you're walking yourself through that journey, that each part of your child, your infant self, before you're done with them, and if you have to go back, do it. And if you got to each part, perfect. But before you're done with each part of yourself, before you move on to the next part, it's vital that you feel a sort of pouring out of love, unconditional, like acceptance, the easiest way to describe that unconditional love is kind of like a cherishing. It's just like a, oh man, you're so precious to me. Like you're so like gorgeous and stunning and beautiful and just so tender in your innocence. And man, I feel so devoted to you, and I feel so connected to you, and I feel so protective of you. And there is no way in hell that I'm going to let anybody mistreat you, disrespect you on any level, right? It's that kind of fiery tenderness, which is kind of the best way I can describe it,
Yeah.
that needs to be present before you move on to the next version of self. Because when you can have that fiery like love and devotion to that part of you that felt so unloved, that felt so unwanted, that felt so unappreciated, disrespected, just like a nothingness, like a waste of space. When you can have that tenderness towards those pieces of you, you build a foundation within yourself that is absolutely unmovable, that is unshakable. That someone comes along and tells you, you don't deserve this, and you laugh. It makes you giggle. You're like, you're out of your mind if you think I don't deserve this. Run along, run along with your cute opinions, and stop projecting your own lack of deserve onto me, because no thank you. No thank you. And from that, oh shit, you're gonna fucking hate this homework assignment, but tough titties. Okay, so each day I want you to post a selfie of yourself on
Oh.
social media. Because girl, if you can't be proud enough to be with yourself, how can you expect other people to? You
Mhm.
know what I
Wait,
mean?
for like until next week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you can label it, this is part of my homework assignment. and just feel the feelings that you have. But honestly, if you can't treat yourself the way that you want others to treat you, how do you expect to magnetize to you people who will treat you that way?
Mhm.
Right? It's the
Yeah.
simplest. It's the simplest and also most uncomfortable because we wish we could skip the step. We wish we could skip the step of being proud of ourselves.
No, I want to do this. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so post a selfie. Can you please tag me so I can see every single day that you're doing it?
Yeah. I mean,
Let
not
me
necessarily
see.
like I want to like post a bunch of selfies, but I want to be there for me, and I
Yes,
want to show up for me.
yes. And feel free to write about whatever's on your heart as you're posting that selfie. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be positive. It can be, I feel fucking ridiculous posting this, but it's part of my homework assignment because if I can't be proud of me, how can I expect anyone else to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, because sometimes we just have to go through the motions. We have to go through the habits. While we're doing the internal work, we're doing the external work, and then at some point, they meet in the middle.
Yeah. No, because I think I'm grieving for all the times that I didn't show up for myself.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, homework number 2. It's so beautiful for you to witness. Homework number 2, I want you to write a list of things that you're proud of yourself, about and for. And as you're writing that list, whatever the emotions are, whatever resistance comes up, whatever feels selfish or arrogant or, like I shouldn't be proud of this thing or this thing is stupid to be proud of myself for. I want you to, just clear that energy by saying this sentence, and you can write it down if you want to. I forgive myself. And within this perspective, something I learned from Coach Danny, within this perspective, forgiveness simply means a pouring forth of love from an open heart. Okay, so it doesn't mean you're making it okay. It doesn't mean anything else except for I pour forth with love from an open heart, aka I forgive. I forgive myself for judging myself about feeling proud of XYZ. Anytime there's resistance, just clearing out that energy around your ability or your desire to feel proud of yourself, your practice, your new habit, your new behavior of wanting to and being allowed to feel proud of yourself. Okay, good. Beautiful. And so that would be step 3. Clear the energy. Clear any resistance, any heaviness around when you speak that I'm proud of myself for, and you speak it out loud, any resistance, any heaviness, clear it by saying I forgive myself for judging myself for being proud about XYZ. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote it.
Excellent. Okay, love. So let's move into our process. Really good work for sticking with me today, by the way. I know that wasn't comfortable by any means. But we had to push through. Your brain, because of how smart you are and because of how much you've worked on yourself, your brain has some surface level, shallow things it turns to in order to deviate you and distract you from the deeper stuff that's happening below. And I simply won't allow that. um, yeah, so good work. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I totally get where you were coming from. I think what was coming up was that, like, I'm wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand myself, or you are misunderstanding me, something like that.
Yeah. I don't like. maybe not even, I mean, I didn't realize that, but I just felt like, growing up just kind of like being wrong. I don't know. So it was
Mhm.
like that triggered that feeling of like, okay,
I'm wrong again?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good. Good noticing. Yeah, it was a little bit of that. It was a little bit of you really knowing your truth, really knowing who you are, and really knowing like what you stand for. And then it was, yeah, sure, an old wound, and then a lot of resistance from your brain, not wanting us to crack into that next level, because your brain's job is to keep everything the same, right? That's your brain's entire job. So you did awesome. You showed up. You did not hop right off the live when you felt offensive or when you felt attacked. You did awesome. You stuck with me. You stayed with me. That's what I'm congratulating you for, because that's not for the faint of heart, baby. That's not it's not for the faint of heart to stick through those difficult, sticky moments and stay until the reveal, because with the reveal comes relief, right? Comes change, comes a heightened sense of awareness, comes growth, comes evolution. And
Yeah.
that's what the brain is resisting.
Yeah. No, and that's why, and thank you for, working through it, because I know at the end of those triggers is the gold nugget,
Yes,
like even though I know I'm uncomfortable, that's what I'm here for. I'm
absolutely. Absolutely. And you're such an evolved being, babe, that it does take, you have to be aware. It does take a strong person who's not afraid to hold you in that space in order to move you through to the end of it. So, one of the things that I do want you to pin to your "this is my ideal relationship" board is someone who's not afraid to call you on your bullshit. Because it's not your conscious bullshit, it's not your tenderness bullshit, it's not your heart bullshit. It's the bullshit of when your limiting beliefs are kicking in and your projections are trying to stick themselves onto someone else. They are willing to not take it. They're like, nope, I'm not going to hold that stuff, and reflect it right back to you without being offended, without being drawn into battle, without being drawn into a fight. You actually need someone who can hold you and witness you and go, well, that doesn't belong to me, but I'm not going to be offended by it. I'm not going to go into defense by it because it simply isn't mine. So I'm gonna reflect back to you. You're making something up right now. And then that's the point for you to go, oh, am I? Huh, I wonder what that is that I'm making up. Can you please tell me a little bit more, like you did with me this morning? Can you please explain a little bit more by what you mean by that? You know, what do you mean I'm making it up? And then they can tell you what they're seeing. Well, you're telling me, or you're telling me, or you're blaming me for this. And that's simply not what happened. So, because of your level of trauma, you require someone who's a little bit more self aware to hold a space for you. And I wonder if your friends are capable. I wonder if they're evolved enough. I wonder if they have done a similar level of work that they can hold you in that space. I go, hey, babe, don't put that on me, but I'm sorry that you're feeling like this is not what's going on. So, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, because I knew at the end of the day it wasn't about them.
You did, yeah. You started our conversation with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You knew. I already know.
yeah, and I knew it wasn't like their job to fix it or fix me or whatever, and I just like knew I needed a different perspective on it. So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's even deeper than a different perspective.
yeah,
It's a different set of measures of what constitutes a friendship. It's a completely, you have to rewrite your idea of what friendship means to you. Homework number 4. Rewrite your idea of what friendship means to you, Because the reason that I'm saying that is because I already know that you don't like the fact that you were triggered by them not posting about you on social media. I already know that you don't want that to be incorporated into what your idea of what friendship means to you. I know that. So then what does friendship mean to you? Rewrite it. You get to decide what friendship means to you. Friendship means XYZ. To me, friendship means I cannot have anyone in my surroundings who will not call me on my bullshit. I can't. I simply can't. I'm too smart and I'm too knowledgeable about hypnosis and how the mind works to have anyone in my surroundings who will not call me out. But they have to do it in a loving way. They have to do it kindly. They have to do it from a place of respect, right? They have to do it in a way that shows me that they actually do love me and value my friendship. But when I get lost in my limitations, I need a friend who's going to be like, babe, nah, right? That's what I need. I need a friend who is loyal, who has my back. You know, I need a person who it honors their word, right? Who says what they mean and means what they say. And if they say this thing, they'll do this thing, or they'll just explain to me. Open communication is also a qualification on my list of friends. There's a new one that has come in over the last couple of years, which is one of my requirements for friends is that if someone has betrayed my trust or done something awful to me, I require my friends to not continue to support that person. That's just a choice. Like if they still support that person, then I don't feel that has really crossed a true barrier of friendship. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that that's not necessarily reasonable, but that's what I want. You know, I require my friends not to talk badly about me behind my back. Like that's just a thing. They can
Yeah.
vent about me, but spreading gossip is absolutely unacceptable. I won't tolerate it in any way, shape, or form. Like these are some of my requirements. Posting about me on social media is not. Acknowledging me in public or private is not. But that's me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need from a friendship? What do you need from a real friendship? That's what I want you to make a list of. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense
Yeah.
with me. And there is no shame around any of your requirements. If part of a real friendship requires that your friends are willing to openly be friends with you, great. Like our friendship should not be a secret. Excellent. Be loose about how that shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Be flexible about how that shows up. Because what if you magnetize someone who hates social media? You know, what if you attract someone who doesn't have any social media accounts? Does that mean you cannot be friends with that person? You know what I mean? Like be loose.
Yeah, I'd actually prefer it. Because then I'm like, okay, they're not posting not because they're ashamed, because they just don't have
You don't. Yeah, exactly.
an
It's
account.
easier, right? One less thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Totally. I love meeting people who don't have social media. Of course, they'll never see this, but they're like anomalies. They're unicorns. I'm like, oh, tell me about yourself. What do you do with your time if you're not constantly scrolling on social media? Like, how do you spend your life? It's so fun. Yeah, I'm like
They're
fascinated.
probably like reading and exercising.
Yeah, I just spend time living. What's
Yeah.
that like? You know? Yeah, totally. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Okay, cool. So good. Let's move into your process. You take a nice deep cleansing breath. Open your heart. Good. Any heaviness that's sitting on top of your heart, just breathe it up and out of your mouth. That's it. I'm going to count you from 5 down to 0. And at 0, I want you to find yourself in a space that's between time. It's a secure space. No one is there, just you. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zero is deep into relaxation, deep into finding this space. When you're in that space, nod your head for me. Okay. Now I want you to invite and allow a version of you that's kind of an amalgam of all of the different parts of your inner child self. If it's easier, let's just bring in each version. Your infant self, your toddler self, your preschool self, your school age self, and your adolescent, your teen. And I want you to just imagine that you could split your adult self into 5 and just listen to what they have to share with you. Going to give your unconscious mind permission to be able to do this because it's dynamic. So you can focus on holding space, and each of those versions are going to share at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now you're not going to try to make it okay. You're not going to try to tell them why they shouldn't feel this way. You're not going to try to excuse or explain any of the thoughts or emotions that are coming up for these versions of yourself. Just listen actively. Listen, just attentively. And when each of them has fully expressed themselves, nod your head for me. Now imagine your infant self moving into your toddler self, who moves into your preschool self, who moves into your school age self, who moves into your teen. Once that has happened, nod your head for me. Good. And if it feels right, step forward and put your arms around that version of yourself. And apologize for everything that you've said or done that has invalidated you, that has punished you, that has reinforced old trauma. Just say sorry. Yes. Woo! Letting it out, letting it go. Good. Now become that version of yourself. When you are that version of yourself, nod your head for me. Receive that apology. Receive that. How does it feel to receive that from yourself?
It's like heartwarming.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Do you forgive yourself?
Yes.
Yes. Share with yourself, your adult self, that you forgive yourself. And then become your adult self again and receive that forgiveness. How does that feel?
Like a release of guilt. Like I almost feel like I don't deserve it.
That's okay. Witness that. I don't deserve it. And repeat after me. I forgive myself
I forgive myself
for judging myself
for judging myself
as undeserving
as undeserving
of self-forgiveness.
of self-forgiveness.
And breathe out. Continue to receive that forgiveness on a deeper level. Feel the gratitude that you have of feeling that your other selves are forgiving you. Feel the awe at your ability to forgive yourself. Feel that tenderness that you have towards those other versions of you. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that sense that they're so precious to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you let someone shame them by not posting about you or them on social media?
No.
No, fuck no. What would you say to them if their feelings were hurt?
I'm here for you and
Yes.
that you matter to me.
Yes! Even the universe agrees. Yes. I'm proud of you. I will show up for you. I will show the world that I'm proud of us and our relationship. I will hold you. I will love you. I will always be here for you. I will include you in all of my plans forever. You will always have me. And how does that feel?
Secure. More safe and more like I can trust that more.
Yes. More dependable. Yeah. Yeah, right? Like that feels like a foundation that you can really put your feet on. So no matter the chaos that's going on outside of you, you can always trust that. Sometimes you might slip, allow yourself some humanity, but give yourself permission too to always come back to this space. Man, is your brain ready for this? Fantastic. Locking it into place. Locking it into place. One is a nice deep cleansing breath in. 2 is a wonderful sense of well-being. 3 and even more alert number. 4 and 5 is eyes open, wide awake, and alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Wow. Good work.
Thank you.
That was really powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for showing up in your all present, being so ready and willing to do this work. Thanks, Denise. Denise says, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for creating and holding the space for me to do this work.
It's my honor. This is me being me. So thank you for showing up to be you, to allow me to be me. I appreciate that. Thank you for watching, Denise. We so appreciate you. All right, Miss Cielo. So go do your homework
I will. Yeah.
and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you and Cielo next week, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on my Facebook Live page, my Facebook page. And this will be the final episode of Metamorphosis with Abby, because then Metamorphosis with Abby is metamorphosizing into something brand new, which will be launched in January. Very, very exciting stuff. We are evolving, as is the world, as am I, as are we all. Here we go. Are you ready? No time like the present. See you next week. Bye.